Joining me on the show is Mr. Reuven Azar. He is the Israeli ambassador, and he will be speaking on, amongst other things, the shocking killing of the Israeli couple that took place in Washington, D.C., something that has shaken up the world. There's been global condemnation, but it has ramifications. It has ramifications for the global action against terror, and it has ramifications on, well, Israel's war on Gaza, doesn't it? Mr. Azar, thank you so much for speaking to me on NDTV.
Thank you, Gauri.
Let me start by asking you that the comment that was made by the Israeli foreign minister after that shocking killing that came to light about blood libels. World leaders have condemned the killing, and in fact they have all spoken unanimously in a single voice there. But why such a strong parallel?
Yeah, well, Gauri, this is indeed a shocking event at the heart of the US Capitol, in one of the safest places on earth, near the FBI headquarters. A young couple, really beautiful couple. Yaron Lishinsky was a Christian volunteer that came to Israel, served in the military, in the IDF, came back, worked for our embassy. He loved Israel, loved our country, and he was about to get married, actually to offer to be engaged with Sarah Milgrim, that was also butchered in this terrible incident. We, of course, are in grief. We were in touch with the parents. The funeral is going to happen today in Israel. And indeed, you know, the world leaders have condemned. The question is, what do we go from here when it comes to the struggle against terrorism?
Yeah.
Because terrorism shouldn't be only condemned. We have to act together as an international community to put terrorism out of the equation. We should do more to stop incitement for terrorism, stop disinformation, fake news that are spread all the time, blood libels against the state of Israel, like blood libels that we are, starving the Gaza population, which is complete nonsense. We are supplying, we are monitoring the situation, and we see that there is no lack of food in Gaza. All kinds of UN biased reports that are disseminating as if an imminent disaster is coming.
No, but how is that, any of that, linked to that shocking
Of course it
killing?
links, because at the end of the day, when you incite people for hatred and you feed them with wrong information, some people are going to go to the extreme. Radicalism and the dissemination of hatred and incitement leads to violence. This is what we have to understand. And this is a problem we're having everywhere, not only in our part of the world, in West Asia. We have the same problem in Europe. We have the same problem in America. In American universities, you see billions of dollars flowing from countries like Qatar, that are spreading incitement, not just against what Israel is doing, against the mere existence of Israel, the mere right of Jews to have the state of their own. These are things that are completely unacceptable. I'm very happy, by the way, that the Trump administration is taking very firm action against that kind of incitement, and actually is taking out people that are on guest visas and they are coming to America to incite.
So there are several things that you are mentioning, but to link all of it to that shocking killing is what many feel is a stretched argument, something that the Israeli Prime Minister also mentioned about it. And,
how is it stretched?
And he said that, in fact, he mentioned about UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he mentioned them, Mark Carney, Canadian Prime Minister. He said, when mass murderers, rapists, baby killers and kidnappers thank you, you're on the wrong side of justice.
Absolutely.
Now, again, coming back to the point that how can you actually link, of course, this was an act of terror, nobody's denying that, but link that specific killing to that entire population is what many are saying, that that's a stretched argument, and what Israel is trying to do is justify what many feel is now becoming a one-sided war in Gaza, where children are being starved.
Well, first of all, there is no such thing as a one-sided war. There was aggression coming from Hamas against Israel with this terrible massacre that happened on the 7th of October. And there is a refusal from Hamas to give back our hostages and renounce power in the Gaza Strip. And as a result of that, the Palestinian population that has been taken hostage by Hamas is suffering. And it's also suffering not only because Hamas has dragged them into this war, but also because they are stealing their humanitarian assistance. And therefore, Israel is determined to change that situation. From next Sunday, we are going to introduce a new mechanism that will supply food directly to the population without it going through Hamas. There is always a link. If you, on the one side, condemn terrorism, but then you don't take action in order to deal with the root causes of terrorism, which are incitement and hatred, and not dealing with the radical elements that are going rampant in your country.
No, but incitement and hatred, action is being taken. But again, I
How?
come back to the point that we started this conversation with. I agree with you that acts of terror not only should be condemned, should be acted upon. And nobody understands that better than India. You know, yesterday we completed 1 month of the Pahalgam terrorist attack, and we felt that India must respond, and we did. Operation Sindoor was there, but it was a targeted, specific, precise and responsible attack. So which is why I come back to what I started this, which is that an entire population, there are reports coming in, one can discount the numbers, whether it is 14,000 or whether it's 11,000 could be a separate debate about the number of children who don't have access to food right now.
But that is the debate, because when people are lying about it, there was a UN report, a biased UN report, saying that if assistance will not come, within a year, 14,000 people will starve, 14,000 kids. Then somebody changed it and said within 48 hours. It was a complete lie. So the mere fact that you are using this information means that people are being successful in disinforming you as well.
So what is then the future? Many feel that this is now going to be used by the Israeli state to probably push up the pedal as far as the ongoing military action in Gaza is concerned. Respond to that.
Well, we have been very clear, including in interviews I've given to NDTV, that Israel is determined to enter into the final stage of this war against Hamas. Because so far, we've been balancing our act between military action and negotiation to bring back the hostages. In this way, we've managed to bring back 197 hostages. We're still left with 59, out of them 20 alive, and we are giving a chance to Hamas. We are saying, you can finish the war today by bringing back our hostages and renouncing power. If we don't do that, Israel is determined, already decided, to go all the way in the Gaza Strip, take over the Gaza Strip militarily, and after Hamas is liquidated, transfer of power will be done to a more responsible force in the Gaza Strip.
Mr. Azar, the point is that this has been Israel's position. But in the last 6 months, what has changed is there has been a Middle East tour by President Trump. There have been negotiations where not much progress has been made. And the Trump administration has been frustrated with the fact that peace talks are not moving ahead. And many feel that the shocking terrorist attack that took place yesterday, will that become maybe a watershed moment in Israel looking to once again push the pedal on Gaza? And I ask you this because the Trump administration has not made any progress as far as those peace efforts are concerned. And Mr. Netanyahu was to a large extent isolated when the Middle East tour did not include Israel. So Israel, I want to ask that. Yeah.
Okay, so Israel is not isolated at all, because the United States stands behind Israel, is giving legitimacy and backup to the Israeli military effort against Hamas, and is frustrated at Hamas, not at Israel. Okay? Number two, when President Trump came to the Middle East, he had no American interest undermined as a result of the situation in Gaza. He made the deals with the Arab countries, and that's perfectly okay. I think that the fact that you are having the Abraham Accord countries stable, sticking to the peace with Israel, that you have an American administration that is pushing Iran to get into a nuclear deal that will serve the interests of both Israel and America, that's a very important step. And at the end of the day, if we show determination and we stand behind our words, it's very easy to condemn terrorism, but then when you have to back up the struggle against terrorism, you start contextualizing.
But everybody has backed you, right? Each and every of the allies have backed Israel all along.
We have entered the Gaza Strip, after the 7th of October, despite the fact that many countries in Europe, including the United States, were against. We entered into Rafah and liquidated the leadership of Hamas, despite the fact that many countries, including friends of Israel, were against. We respect countries and we respect criticism, However, we are not going to undermine our interest to defend our country and free it from a future October 7th. And therefore, our determination, even before this terrorist attack in Washington, is very, very accurate. And we have stated it from day one. We're going to bring back our hostages. We're going to make sure that Hamas doesn't rearm and regroup.
I think there is no dispute in the fact that the 7th of October attack that took place was horrific, and Israel had every reason and right to defend, and it did. The question and the conversation we are having right now is that the terrorist attack comes at a time when there has been global pushback against Israel's continued efforts in Gaza in the wake of reports.
Well,
you can dispute those reports, but those reports exist.
First of all, the fact that you have disinformation and fake reports, this is part
Every report can't be fake.
No, not every report. There have been many reports, actually, that have been stating very firmly that there is no starvation in Gaza. Those reports are not being covered by part of the media. But what is very evident is that when you defend yourself, there's going to be pushback. At the end of the day, any nation has to make its choice. We are making a choice, first of all, to serve the interests of the Israeli people, and that's the responsibility of the democratically elected government of Israel. And we're going to go through until we finish this war, until Hamas is removed from the Gaza Strip, whether some people like it or some people don't like it.
But that is an objective which has no timeline in place, doesn't it? There is no timeline in place at all.
No, of course not.
So if you're talking about 6 months, 8 months, 9 months...
Look, there are, unfortunately...
There will still not be any aid trucks going into Gaza.
No. First of all, aid is coming into Gaza Strip. It has been going in yesterday and today. As I told you, we are monitoring the situation together with partners in the international community. And if we sense that there is lack of food, we will allow international assistance to enter. The only reason that we have stopped the international assistance is because during the ceasefire that collapsed,
Hamas was rearming some of it.
Thousands of trucks of aid entered, and there was enough food in the Gaza Strip. We made an effort now to shift the humanitarian effort in a way that Hamas will stop sequestrating it. Because the sequestration of Hamas of the food creates a situation that instead of the Palestinian population receiving the assistance free of charge, they are being charged by Hamas, and this money fires the mechanism of terror of Hamas. This will stop from Sunday.
Mr. Azar, final question, sir, because we're running out of time, which is that one feels that there is a change in the global sentiment. First, of course, with the Trump administration's action taken with regard to Harvard University. They've actually put in national security concerns there. One may seem that it is actually too harsh, given that there are 7,000 students who are impacted. And then this horrific terror incident that took place in Washington, D.C. itself. Do you think the two things put together means that some of the pushback that Israel had about 48 hours back doesn't exist now, or at least is diluted?
Well,
Quick answer.
I don't know. It's a speculation. Look, at the end of the day, terror is terror. You have to isolate it. You have to take it out of the equation. You have to fight it. You cannot contextualize it. And this incident is just another example of how horrible this tactic is. We have to get rid of it. We can cooperate internationally to deal with it and not just condemn it.
All right, sir, we leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to me on NDTV. And in fact, on that note, viewers, we slip into a very short break. We come back on the other side with India Assets. Stay with us.